Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Universal Spirit Center to our Awakening Wednesday night. And tonight we're blessed, hello, Khalid, we're blessed to have with us our beautiful Toby and Catherine for Magically You. So you're in for a mystical, magical treat. And to get the evening kicked off, get some energy happening, get some bodies moving, get some booty shaking. Oh, did I say that? Yeah, get some booty shaking. Let's, yeah. Ooh, hey, yeah. Think of your fellow man, lend a helping hand, put a little love in your heart. You see it's getting late, please don't hesitate and keep the love in your heart. And the world will be a better place. The world will be a better place for you and me. Just you wait, she gonna shake it, and see another day goes by and the children cry to keep the love in your heart. You think it's getting late, please don't hesitate to keep the love in your heart. And the world will be a better place. The world will be a better place for you and you and you and you and you and you too. Keep the love in your heart. Let me see you shake it, girl. Come on now. Shake that hip. 'Cause sometimes in our life we all have pain and we all have sorrow. But if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me. We are not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on and on. It won't be long. You're gonna need somebody to lean on. You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. You know I might have a problem that you understand, 'cause we all need somebody to lean on. Think of your fellow man, lend a helping hand and keep the love in your heart. You see it's getting late, please don't hesitate to keep the love in your heart. And this world, it will be a better world. This world will be a better world for me too. Keep the love in your heart. No, keep it. Keep the love in your heart. Each and every day, you gotta keep the love in your heart. Keep it in your heart. Oh, yeah. Keep the love in your heart. We gonna what? Keep the love in our hearts. Yeah. All right, choir. Woo, woo.
Thank you, Gina. Thank you, Gino. That was incredible. She is always down to raise the vibration and raise the roof. So that is Miss Gino Walker. And for those of you who have never been here before, welcome to Universal Spirit Center. And this is a beautiful community of a spiritual enlightenment community that is very all-inclusive and brings in all different faces of spirituality. So tonight is called Awakening Wednesday, and this is an evening that Gino created about 4 years ago to really showcase all different versions of spirituality.
Mm-hmm. And we're so grateful to be here.
We're so grateful to be here. Yeah. So just in case I forget to say it at the end, there's a basket on the back. Any of your donations go back to Universal Spirit Center, and Gino will put up a QR code on the screen. If we can do that. I don't know if we can do that tonight. But if not, if you need the QR code, see Gino at the end to scan and donate to.
And then
back
also
to the center.
on Instagram, right? You can find the QR code there, I think, as well.
Yep,
right?
on Instagram. Yep, you got it.
Awesome.
So, thank you.
And we see some familiar faces coming back, so thank you. Always love it when some people come back and we know who you are, so thank you. We love you so much.
Yes. And even though we have a small group here, we are on stage with lights and microphone because we have a lot of people at home. This is live streaming to YouTube and to Facebook. So welcome and thank you to everybody at home tuning in. I think my dad is here tonight. Hi, Dad.
Hi, Joe. All the way from Florida.
North Carolina.
Sorry.
They're back.
They
back
vacation
home.
in Florida.
Yeah. So we are Catherine and Toby, and we are Magically You. And we created that name because we believe that all of you have all of your magic within you. You have all the answers within. And it is our mission and purpose to help each human on the planet raise their vibration and discover their own wisdom and connect with their own inner higher self.
And there's also another second meaning, at least for me personally, is that I lived most of my life feeling like I was an outsider and I just always said, I'm weird. In fact, the very first time I met Toby was at a retreat, and we were there for spiritual growth and enlightenment. And I said to her, I'm weird. I can channel. And she said, you're not weird. You're magical. And that one reframe changed everything for me. And it's been an amazing 2-year ride with this beautiful lady as I have stepped into what's magical. Could be weird for some people, but for us, we choose to see it as a magical thing. So
yeah, absolutely. And Catherine's going to tell you a little bit about her story and how she came to choose that magic for herself in this lifetime. But a little bit about me first. So I, the thing that brought me to my spiritual path and my first spiritual awakening was eating disorder recovery. So I struggled with an eating disorder from a young age, and I had been involved in personal growth work for about 10 years before I was really ready to face looking at that part of me, that really wounded part of me. But when I dove in and really started healing that part of me, I discovered spirituality, and I had really denied it before, which is hilarious to me now because
So much who you are.
It's totally who I am, but I was like, no, I have nothing to do with spirituality. Hilarious, right? But so it really, that healing of that eating disorder took me down a spiritual path. And then, I went down many winding roads on that path, and meeting Catherine several years ago at that retreat was really another spiritual awakening for me. And the path.
And I didn't like her at first. I was like, who is this crazy girl? And I walked in with my husband and said, get her away from me. And now, man, I don't go a day without talking to her.
Yeah. Isn't that how it goes with strong personalities? Sometimes we kind of like clash, like, the ends of two batteries.
Yeah, but by far, one of my greatest teachers, by far.
And ditto. And back to that magic, she has really helped me find my magic within and helped me become more confident in who I am, and my spiritual gifts have blossomed since we have become friends and partners. So, and I'll pass it off to you to share a little bit about your magical story.
Well, I can say it real quick. 9 car accidents, 6 concussions, and 3 near-death experiences, beginning at the age of 7, and my last accident was 2 years ago, but my last one that I died was 38, and at that point I came back, and I had been through 2 failed marriages and was going through 2 custody battles, so my life was pretty much a mess. At one point I was even living out of my car to try to get the money to have the right to see my kids. So that brought me to a state of humility, a state of really leaning into gratitude. And then from that, things just began to blossom. And I met the love of my life, my 4th marriage, and Mr. Mark Bell. And then this woman came into my life. So here I am, 369.
And something I think important to mention is that through each accident
Yeah.
and each near-death experience, she came back with more pronounced spiritual gifts. So,
And able to understand them more. I think it's 7. So my first one, I was 7, running across the street, and I followed my older brothers, and a diesel truck hit me, and I bounced on the pavement. And coming back from that, I was in a coma for a couple of days. I didn't know how to bring all of that stuff into our experiences here. We're having it human. So that was the first marker. And then with the next one that happened when I was 30, and then the next one at 38. 38 is really where I was able to bring back a lot of the memories of going through the death process with my near-death experience. And I think that's what opened the door.
Yeah.
So for my 2 husbands who I love, my 2 ex-husbands who I love dearly, they didn't know much about me because I wasn't secure enough to share it, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then this magical journey has begun. So very
Yeah.
grateful to be here.
So it is really exciting, and the example of a lot of spiritual internal work and progression to be channeling on a stage and live streaming.
Well,
because
there are people that believed in me and were willing to listen to me, and y'all know who you are. And it's surrounding yourself with like-minded people, because we are a community. And I also believe that what's happening on the planet had a lot to do with it as well, that the planet is awakening. And so as the planet's awakening, so am I.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Welcome.
So we're excited to be here tonight.
So tonight we're talking about 3D to 5D. So some of you have been to our event 2 months ago. This might be a little bit of a repeat. Just show of hands. Who was there 2 months ago?
Oh,
Okay, so we got a bunch of newcomers. So this will be new to you. Maybe a repeat for some.
Yeah, so third dimension to fifth dimension consciousness. I remember my dad's out here, so he doesn't know what D means.
Oh,
right?
okay.
So
Hi, Joe.
we're going to talk about the dimensions. Sorry to put you on the spot, Dad, but good thing you're at home on the East Coast.
There you go.
So we will be talking about the dimensions and how to know when you're in them and how to really apply them and respond from those different energies.
Before we do that, let's talk a little bit about how we got the dimension, how we got this information, because Toby was instrumental in actually naming the council. And it was through the relationship that Toby has with the council that this all came about. I just knew them as my imaginary friends that stayed with me my whole life. So when my mother said, "Shh, we don't talk about imaginary friends," I went, "Okay, I won't talk about that with you." But I kept them with me my whole life. So I think that's an important distinction, that the council gives us this information. And we are constantly learning. I think I know it. Even last week we had someone talk about the Merkaba body, and I couldn't even pronounce it for the council. I was like, ah. Now I'm so excited because it's brought a whole new awareness about what the Merkaba body is and what the light activation is.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
So Nikola Tesla is one of my heroes. And I first found out about him when I was a little girl. I was fascinated with electricity. Where does it come from? How is it here? And I can turn off and on the light switch. Isn't that a great thing? And by the way, that same power can snuff a life out. Although when your heart stops, you want that power because it starts your heart again. And Nikola Tesla said, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration.
And another one of our heroes, and I'm sure yours as well, is Albert Einstein. Everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy. This is physics. And this brings us to, the conversation about the dimensions and learning how to know.
Show of hands, when we say 3D to 5D, who has a concept quickly for that?
Okay.
Good, so most of the room, that's awesome. What we're going to be talking about now is the frequency that takes you from 3D to 4D to 5D. And in order to do that, we have a brief explanation about the dimensions.
Yep. So we're talking about the 9 dimensions, and science has found that there's 11.
Well, mathematically.
Mathematically, there's 11. So, and this is the time where spirituality and science and math are merging, which is a very exciting time in our history.
I love it.
So there's things that the ancient civilizations have known since the beginning of the planet that now science is catching up and proving these things for us. So mathematics says 11. Spirituality might say more.
Yeah. Well, mathematics said in this dimension, this universe, mathematically it can be proved that there are 11 dimensions, which I love because that supports exactly what the council had taught us a couple months ago.
Yeah. Well, we're going to talk about the first 9 dimensions, which that's important for us, for humanity, for where we are, for where we're living, where we're growing. And we actually all humans move through the dimensions. Maybe all of them, depending on where our energy's at. So,
and where your spiritual growth is.
Yep.
The more spiritually, like I've been asking questions about the 9th and 10th, and the council says to me, honey, why don't you master the 4th, 5th, and 6th first before you try to tackle those ones?
Right. So transparently, remember, we're getting this information from the council, and then we study it and then do our own research on it. So we are at the understanding of the 6th dimension, right? So we can talk about what 7, 8, and 9 are because they've given it to us, but we don't actually know how to apply it quite yet,
Not
right?
yet, yeah.
Yeah, so we're sharing things with you real time as we are learning them. So the first dimension is unity, singularity. This is the oneness. The second dimension is polarity and duality. So we have 2 points. This is black, white, up, down, in, out.
Left, right.
Left, right. The third dimension, this is obviously where we live on Earth, and this is where we experience. So each dimension carries with it the prior one. So this is where we experience the oneness, that we experience the duality. And this is where we get the opportunity to be the creators of our lives. The fourth dimension is frequency and process. So this is where we take the experience and we can go up to the next level and process and think through those experiences and really start to try to understand them. And then the fifth dimension is awareness and understanding. And I think the fifth dimension, and you can speak more to this, the fifth dimension in the spiritual community, I think, has, there's some misconceptions about what it is. And we've learned this from the council.
I'm still real unsure because I quote that 3D to 5D. I talk about being in the fifth dimension all the time, and I think I'm in the fifth dimension doing so good, and the council says, no, sweetheart, you're still in the third. So it is a learning process.
Yeah, absolutely.
And fun to explore, right? It's about the journey, not the destination.
Yeah. So the fifth dimension isn't necessarily all love and light, which I think is what the predominant thinking is, but it is the awareness and the understanding. So when we take the experience of the 3D and then we bring it into the fourth dimension to process it and to understand it and really work with the energy of it, then we can have a higher awareness and a higher understanding in the fifth dimension. And then the sixth dimension is transformation. This is where we are transmuting those energies of those lower dimensions and where we're beginning to live that understanding and that awareness of the fifth dimension, where we're bringing it into the embodiment, is the sixth dimension. And again, this is as far as we've gotten in really in-depth understanding. So the seventh dimension is enlightenment. Mm-hmm. Eighth dimension is eternity. So you were saying something earlier about time and space.
That the eighth dimension does not have time and space. So in the eighth dimension, you can move forward or move backward. And when you reach the eighth level, you incorporate all of the levels below you. So you have the power to move in and out. There is no beginning, there is no end. And I always remember it because if you turn the 8 sideways, it becomes the infinity sign.
Yeah. And the ninth dimension is complete knowledge. And then that brings us back to the first dimension, the unity, the oneness.
Back to source.
Back to source. Yeah.
So I don't know what the 11th is.
Oh, don't know. We'll let you know when we find out. So on that, we'd like to share with you some examples of 3, 4, and 5th dimensional responses, emotions, and energy, and how to use these frequencies, 3rd, 4th, and 5th dimension.
And we do have a mic in front here, so we'd love for you guys to participate with this. So it's not, there's no set answers. It's more of a conversation. And it's more of so each one of us could understand the difference between the thinkings, and you can feel it. I'm starting to feel it when I shift and I go up to 5D. I feel like everything's aligning, everything's feeling better. When I sink down, and I've gone down into 2D, as my husband can tell everybody, where I'm stuck in that right, wrong, good, bad, light, dark. You should not have done that. Nothing you're going to say right now is going to change my mind. And then I remind myself, lady, you want to go up a couple of notches.
Yeah. Well, I think we've all been there.
So
Definitely.
I'll do the first one, but if any of you have a situation that you're like, how do I move this 3D experience into a 5D frequency?
So
I want, if I can right now, so I channel a bunch of different ways. And this is how I lived for all of my 30s before I met Mark, and how both my ex-husbands did not know I can channel. They knew I was a little weird, and they knew I knew things that maybe they didn't tell me. That wasn't fun, right? But they didn't know I could channel. So I do channel in a couple of ways. There is the way that you will meet the council tonight, where I actually leave my consciousness, and my consciousness comes up, and I invite the council to come in. And they come in, and I translate for them. So I'm still around. It's not like anything, my head's going to spin, or I'm going to spit out any pea soup or anything like that. It's very similar. If any of you know Esther Hicks, she was my hero and a mentor, and I love, love, love what she has done the last 30 years. It's very similar to what she does. And I'm told I look a little like what she does, those of you who have seen Esther. And that is when I invite the council to come in. I also can send up through my thought patterns, which I do all day long, and the council answers me, or others, my guides, will answer and come down through the back of my head, and then I'm still me, and you got my personality, my feistiness, and everything. And because I've had so many head injuries, I have a hard time pronouncing words sometime, or I'll look at my husband and call him the other two husbands' names before I get to Mark. So that's fun, huh? I do that to Toby as well. So because I can do that, right now, if you have a situation where you want to know how you go from 3D to 5D, and I don't have the answer, and she doesn't have the answer, I can send that question up, and 9 times they're going to give me the answer and come down. But it's me. It's life according to Catherine. And hopefully you'll see a big difference when it is not me, it is the council, and they're deciding the answers.
Mm-hmm.
So does that help clarify a little bit?
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
Does anybody have any questions about that? Okay. Okay, so I'm going to give you a scenario, and if you could pull down the information of what is the 3D, 4D, and 5D experience of that. So you're at a restaurant, and your waitress comes to the table, and she's clearly busy, flustered, in over her head, in the weeds, and she says, just give me your order.
Okay.
How do you respond?
3D would be, I'd like a salad, no avocados, extra dressing, please. And I need you to take the ice out of my iced tea because I ordered it without ice.
So 3D,
That's 3D.
is about getting your needs met.
Mm-hmm. Getting
Just
an experience in
my
the fact
needs
she's in a rush, she's frustrated, and I don't want none of that.
4D?
4D would be understanding that I have a waitress in front of me, understanding I want to order my salad, and that I don't want avocados in my salad. But then understanding that this waitress has an experience that she's having. And so look at her and understand the process. What is she doing? Is she just wanting to throw up on me, or is she having a bad day? And once I understand that, then I analyze, I go into the 50 and say, how can I help this waitress's day get a little bit better? Is it a smile? Is it acknowledgement? Wow, you're really busy. Wow, I see you're handling a lot. Way to go. Oh, I was impressed how you handled that tray. And by the way, I'd like a salad with no avocados, please. And that's how I have brought down the higher frequency and shared it with that waitress, still getting my needs met in the 3D. Mm-hmm. But I went to the 4D to assess the situation and to see the patterns and to see the cycles. Because in the 4D is where you're going to see history repeat itself over and over again. And it's by understanding that we can step out of that process and then choose a new one. I call that the Great Awakening. Mm. For sure.
And with that restaurant experience, a big lesson that I've learned is if I am very high maintenance and I have a lot of details about how exactly I want my salad made and all the things I want added and all the things I want taken away, in the 5th dimension thinking, I'm going to put those needs aside. And I might say no avocados and then keep my mouth shut because I realize that she's having a hard day and I'm not going to make it harder.
And
so
if she
I'm
brings
willing,
the salad with the avocados, which my husband taught this, watch. Scoop out the avocados, put them to the side, and say, now you have a salad with no avocados.
And don't say anything to the waitress because we're considering her needs as well in the 5th dimension.
And that's humanitarian. See how the 5th dimension is a sense of all of us are in this thing together, which is bringing us to source.
Yeah, beautiful.
So does anybody have something they want to bring forward, a situation? It could be a hypothetical one or a real one. And nobody wants to go to the mic.
You can yell it out.
You can yell it out.
No? You don't
Nope.
have anything?
Let's do, okay.
Okay,
You
so
got another
you're at work and it's 2:00 and you have a date that night, and so you really need to leave at 5:00, and your boss comes in at 2 and says, we have a big deadline and this needs to be done by the end of the day, and it's way more work than you can handle in 3 hours. How do you respond to that situation?
And the boss is asking me to get it done?
Yeah, the boss is asking you to get it done.
Okay, so 3 days. I'm off the clock at 5 and I have a date tonight. So I'll get as much as I can get done, but I'm sorry, you let me know at 2:00.
Yep, 4D.
Okay. 4D is, okay, this is a good one. 4D is assessing my needs and my date's needs. It's also assessing my responsibility and the paycheck that I get from my job. It's also looking at my boss and seeing what state are they in. Are they in a frustrated, perpetrative state? Are they in a frazzled state that there's a deadline that they didn't know about? And how can I best get my needs met as well as having my boss's needs met? So that takes some honest communication. Ma'am, sir, I do have a date tonight that I'm really excited about and I really want to be there. Can you tell me more about this deadline? Is there a way I can get it done after my date? Is there a way I can come in early tomorrow morning? Let's have a conversation about that deadline. And how can I help you? And by the way, I'm really grateful that you're having this conversation with me. Thank you very much. And I appreciate what kind of boss you are.
Beautiful.
Do you see that?
Nice. Yeah, that was great.
Awesome.
Anybody?
Was that the fifth dimension?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
the response.
The fifth is where, so the fourth is where you figure out what's going on, right? That's, and
You're processing.
You process, because sometimes you have a history with this boss. Is this just a mean boss? And all you got to do is smile and say, because, you know, sometimes the council will say to me, there is no cheese at the end of that tunnel. So stop running that wheel. You are on a wheel. So that means love them. And you came up with a great quote that we say all the time to our clients.
Thank you for the lesson. That one?
Uh-huh.
Thank you for the lessons I release you.
So sometimes, no matter what you do, you can hang out in the fifth all you want, but you are interacting with someone who's determined to be in the third, sometimes the second. And at that point, sometimes it's just you love them from afar, and I'm sorry, that's not in my job description. However, let's see that your boss just got his butt handed to him from his boss. Now you can even step into the sixth dimension where you're transmuting frequency by being a caring coworker or employee of your boss.
And thinking about the big picture, thinking about the whole, thinking about everyone involved and what's at stake and what's on the line. But while also thinking of yourself and making sure that your needs get met. So really the fifth dimension is taking everything into the picture.
Did that help
Yeah.
answer?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Does anybody have an?
Okay, so I had an experience today at Sprouts, and I feel like it lines up with
Perfect.
this because I was thinking about it after it happened. So I was looking for a specific section and asked this kid in produce. And as soon as I started talking to him, I could tell he had social anxiety because he just like went into his shell as soon as we started talking. And he's like, I don't know, I'm not sure. And he got super nervous. And I'm like, okay. So I recognized that right away. And I was like, this is a good learning opportunity. So let me see if I can help him kind of figure out troubleshooting 101. So I'm like, okay, well, let's do some troubleshooting. Like, what could we do to figure out? But it didn't really go anywhere from there. And I think ultimately I was trying to make that experience where it was working for me, but also benefiting him.
Yeah.
It didn't fully pan out, but I'm just kind of curious to see what your thoughts would be of how that would look in 5D.
So it's really clear that you went from 3D to 4D because you were wanting to connect with him, wanting to help pull him out of his social anxiety, right? And also find your item, which you were looking for, right? So this may fall in line with the point that, thank you for the lessons I released you, because the key point about the fifth dimension is that you're always in choice. All parties are in choice, all parties. So if someone is determined to stay in 3D or 2D, you're going into 5D, into the other dimensions that have the kindness and the love. And go ahead.
And releasing the outcome. So there was releasing the outcome of, you said it didn't really go anywhere. Well, where was it supposed to go? Were you trying to get
Trying to
him
get her item.
She wanted to get her item, but also I'm hearing that maybe you wanted him to shift in some
I
ways.
think that was more the focus, was seeing him to shift,
Yeah.
because I just recognized right away that there was some struggles there. So I
Mhm.
knew it would be easy for me to go to the next person and be like, hey, where is this? But I think really more, it was like a 70-30 of trying to help him and then trying to do that. And then I kind of walked away feeling like I didn't really accomplish it.
Actually, so this is beautiful because you have the opportunity to shift up into the sixth dimension where you're transforming, and you don't need the other person's agreement
Nope.
to do transformation. You're actually doing that on a higher spiritual level, and that's something that happens within you. Then you send that frequency out, and although he may not get it, we've had some really cool experiences where people I thought would never apologize to me, and I would go to my grave with that. Called up, we did some work, and we were doing, because I just wanted to be released from that pain and that frustration. And as we did it, this other it had been years since I had talked to that person, gave me a call, and I said, that's the best apology I'm ever going to get from that person. So it was done first in the higher dimensions, and then it came through the frequency, and I got this call out of the blue. Yeah. So do you see how I want to open it up that possibly you did influence him. You just didn't get the immediate response because it was done in some of those higher dimensions.
Yeah.
Great example, actually.
Yeah. Just know that the energy that you send out is always felt. Maybe not consciously. Most of the time, I would say probably not consciously. But I actually have an example of when I had a boss at a previous job years ago who I did not get along with her. I did not like her. I gossiped about her to my coworkers. We all did. I'm totally outing myself right now. So I was sending out this negative, dark energy. But then when she would call or I'd be in front of her, I'd be like, hi, and it was clearly
Fake.
Not authentic, right? Yeah. But she'd give it back to me, but she did not like me. And it was clear by our, other interactions that we had. And that was when I realized, she feels all that negativity that I'm sending out to her, right? On a different dimension, but her energy body is receiving that, right? So just like we do it through negativity and gossip, we can do the same thing with love and light. And so your desire and your love and your care for him is felt. He may not know it consciously, but it's felt. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where a look, a smile, an intention, really, really important. And those can be used in all the 3D, 4D, and 5D.
Yeah, beautiful. Does anybody have any questions about that?
Thank you.
Thank you. So we're going to move into breath work. We're just going to do a short breath work to open our hearts and drop out of our minds into our heart space, open our energy bodies to receive the counsel. Before we go into breath work, because we're going to be in a space, does anybody have any questions about the counsel or what channeling is? Is everybody familiar with channeling?
Has anybody here not seen channeling?
I don't think I've seen it.
Okay.
Yeah.
We got 2 people. So as Catherine was saying a few minutes ago, channeling is bringing in higher wisdom. And when artists are painting a masterpiece, they're channeling. When musicians are on stage and they're, writing that hit song, they're channeling, right? They're channeling from a higher energy source. I would venture to say that each one of you are magical and that you all have channeled or do channel in your lives in different ways. Actors channel. So the way that Catherine channels, and again, if you're familiar with Esther Hicks channeling Abraham, it is...
And Jane Roberts. There's a lot of channelers on the
Bashar
planet right now.
yeah,
Bashar,
yeah. Sarah Landon is another.
Yeah.
So Catherine's consciousness steps aside, and she invites in the council. We call them the Council of Light. Again, she's been having a relationship with them, communicating with them since she was 7 years old, since that first accident. And for those of you who are sensitive to energy, you will feel their presence, if you don't already, in the room. And they are here for the advancement of the planet and to help all of us lift and expand our consciousness and raise the vibration. And they come from love and higher wisdom. And so they come through and they use her vocal cords and they use her body to move, and they bring in and they speak. They speak through her. So at that point, when we get to that part, the microphone is here for you to ask questions. So they use the opportunity of your questions to teach for the whole, for everybody. So their answers will benefit the person asking, but it will also benefit everybody. So we do ask you to come up and ask questions, because that is to how we get the conversation started. They will wait for you to initiate. Okay.
And they did incorporate something new as we're moving into our next phase of our Magically You events, is that a lot of people want more of a fortune teller. They want the council to tell them their future, or will this happen, can this happen? And they don't do that because there are many different futures available to you. So they don't choose the one for you. They'll help guide you, and they'll help give you different ways, different perspectives, but they will not tell you the future. And no, they do not tell me the lotto numbers.
She's
And
asked
I
many
used
times.
to get good at gambling, and they now have said, nope, we're not going to support that one. So don't have that one anymore.
Yeah. Are there any questions about that, about the channeling? Okay. All right, so let's do some breath work. Okay, so I invite you all to close your eyes, put your feet on the ground, back and neck tall. Drop your shoulders. And just feel everywhere that your body is touching the chair. And let's take a deep breath in through your nose, filling your belly all the way up, and a slow open mouth exhale. Good. Again, in through the nose, filling up the belly. Open mouth release, letting go of the day. And just notice how with each exhale, your body gets more and more relaxed. In through the nose and out through the mouth. One more, in through the nose, filling up, filling the belly all the way. And this time, hold your breath at the top. And do a body scan from head to toe. And just notice if you find any pain, soreness, stiffness in your body. Or maybe it's a blocked energy. Find that energy with your mind, your imagination, your intention. Send it into the belly. Exhale, release it from your body. Good, again, just like that. In through the nose, filling up all the way, and hold. Do a body scan. Find those areas of energy in your body you're ready to release, whether it's physical or energetic. Send that energy into the belly breath. Exhale, let it go. Good. And just take a few normal breaths. And as you're doing so, keeping your eyes closed, I invite you to come up with a memory. A memory where you felt so loved, so safe, comforted, maybe joyful. Maybe you were on a vacation at a beach in the ocean. You just felt free floating on the waves. Maybe you were being held by your mother when you were an infant, or a lover as an adult. Maybe it was a joyful moment, squealing as a child at your birthday. Just find a memory for you, something that feels really good. And as you have that memory, bring the picture into your mind, bring the visuals in. Just notice what's around you. See the bright colors. Hear the sounds. Bring that memory really present. See if you can smell the smells. And feel the sensations on your skin, on your body, the physical sensations. And now feel the emotions, that love, that care, that comfort, that joy. Really allow yourself to fill your body with the emotions of that memory. Good. Holding on to that memory. We're going to do 4, 7, 8 breath. So we're going to inhale for a count of 4. Hold for a count of 7, and exhale for a count of 8. Holding on to that memory. And I invite you just to place a hand on your heart while you're doing this breath and thinking of this memory. So go ahead through your nose. Inhale for a count of 1, 2, 3, 4. hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale out of your mouth, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Holding on to that memory. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Holding on to that memory. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more, holding on to that memory. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Take a few normal breaths. And just notice how your body feels, how your energy feels, how your emotions feel. Can you really tap into the energy of that memory? Connecting with your heart space, the intelligence, the wisdom, the love, the comfort in the heart. One more deep breath into this juicy energy. And now, gently, slowly, open your eyes and just notice how quick and how easy it is to shift your energy, to be open to receive the counsel. So while Catherine is getting ready to invite the counsel in, did you want to say anything else? You want to talk about the brainwaves?
I was enjoying that frequency. That was a beautiful frequency. For those of you who are new and have not seen me chant before, I would like to briefly just talk about what you're about to see and talk about the science behind it. There's a couple of people that I invite you to research and look into. That's Dr. Joe Dispenza. He's the one that's done a lot of work on brainwaves and has helped me understand exactly what I'm doing. And that was really helpful when I found him. And the other is the Heart Math Institute. We talked about them the session before, 2 months ago. So what I do is I start relaxing my body, and do you want to just take a minute and talk about the 4 brainwaves?
Sure. So Catherine consciously chunks down her brainwaves. So a lot of us will do this in meditation or when we're going to sleep. Actually, everybody goes through all the brainwaves every day, and Catherine consciously does it as she gets ready to channel. So right now you guys are in alpha. Some of you are in theta, but after the breath work, but we're in beta. And so beta is when we are in our doing, our thinking, our activity, our day-to-day. And high beta is when we are very stressed out, right? And we're breathing shallow, and we're in that, we call it, I'm high baiting, I'm high baiting. But so there's levels within each brainwave. But so beta, and then alpha is the more relaxed state that you just dropped into, which is the beginning of meditation, is when you go into alpha. It's also called the learning state. So it's when we open up our brainwaves so that we can be ready to receive. The next level down is theta. And theta is where we go when we're in deep meditation. And this is also the brain state that Joe Dispenza and others, Greg Braden, Bruce Lipton, have talked about. This is where we can rewire our brains and where we can reprogram and really make changes in our patterning. And then this is also where Catherine channels from. And also, I'd just like to add this caveat that when she got into her first accident, she was just turned 7, and so we think that she never left theta waves. which is quite interesting because theta waves are also where we are when we're dreaming, right? And so that is the ability to be in multiple dimensions at the same time when we can bring theta consciously into our brains.
And everybody passes through theta twice. Every 20, well, if you get a lot of sleep, but most of us, every 24 hours, we're going through theta twice. Once upon entering in sleep and once upon coming back into consciousness. So it's a transfer that you all do. It's quite natural. Also, I've also heard it called the flow state that a lot of athletes get into when they go beyond what they thought their bodies could do. And so,
yeah, beautiful. And after theta is delta, and that is that deep sleep state where we're not dreaming. And then there's gamma, which is actually the fastest brainwave state, and that's when we're having this spiritual experience. And when they've studied monks and MRIs, they're in a gamma state.
yeah.
Which is beautiful. So Catherine's going to go into theta to channel. And so
I transfer in theta. So I start relaxing my body. I go into a self-meditation. When I get to a place that I can feel everything's aligned and the energy, the frequency's there, I say to the council, and this is an interesting part for those of you who I know are channelers and are working on that, is that I surrender and say, I'm ready for the transfer. And that's when it happens. So if you're waiting for the council to come in, or any of your guides or anything, they're waiting for you to take your free agency and co-create with them. Yeah. Isn't that interesting? Also, I would invite you to come to the microphone with your questions, right?
Yep.
As soon as the council has arrived. So, last chance. Are there any questions? Is it still Catherine, and you want to know anything? I do invite you to look with a critical eye, with the gift of discernment, and be open.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I'll go.
So please watch her as she chunks down her brainwaves. And for those of you who are feelers, you can feel it. You can feel her moving through.
All right, I'll go get the council. Still me. Give me just a moment. I'm a little bit of difficulty. It is good to be here. Some faces are new, and some we have previously connected with. We'd like to open this discussion up with a gratitude for the Universal Church and for those who have brought this night together, and especially for the pastor and his willingness to allow us to come converse with you.
Thank you. Thanks, Rev Kev. We love you.
So, what shall we talk about today?
Please step to the mic and bring your questions. Don't be shy. We will take questions from the audience at home as well, so just know you will be heard.
Greetings to the council.
Yes.
My name is Paula. I have a question about my spiritual guides. I realize they are there. I have been told they are there, but I don't know how to be more aware of them. And how can I utilize their services for my gifts in the world? To reward this, I would like a more interactive relationship with them.
As
How-
they would with you.
Okay, great. What can you advise to me on how to get that going?
So, frequencies and emotions. Each emotion has a lesson attached to it. So, even the ones that necessarily do not feel good and the ones that feel elated, each emotion has a frequency attached to it. Your guides do not speak to you through a language, through English. They're going to speak to you through your emotions and through vibrations. That is the first thing that we would suggest that you do, is that you understand your emotions. Also understand which emotions are being influenced by others and which are coming from your soul, your consciousness. Taking ownership for your emotions, that you have the power to direct them and to co-create them or to dissipate them. In doing so, you'll begin to understand the other frequencies, and that's where your guides can communicate with you. Also, may we suggest that you give them a name. Oftentimes we are asked, what is my guide's name? What are their names? Who are they? What do they look like? That is a very difficult thing for us to answer because they do not care what you call them. And they take many different forms. So you give them a name. You begin to talk to them. You be open to them. And in those quiet moments, maybe stopped at a red light. Maybe the pause in a conversation. Maybe in profound times when your heart is aching and you're seeking enlightenment. When you listen, and you listen with your heart, you'll begin to hear them. Also, you're very good at your chakras and your alignments, which that also brings an intensity in the emotion, does it not?
It depends on the situation. I'm usually very controlled emotionally. I don't know if I'm logic-minded or I think that my baseline is kind of calm and collected.
Yes.
However, I will say that I can pick up on others' emotions and feel those emotions, but I can consciously acknowledge they are not mine.
So, with your intention and your thought process, start having a conversation with your guides that's just between you and your guides, and play games with them. Ask them, today, show me a flower. Today, show me a certain number. And you'll begin to create the dialogue that's strictly between you and your guides. And as that strengthens, your awareness of them will strengthen as well, you see. Another thing we might suggest that you do is with the intention as you pass through the brain waves that Toby so beautifully explained. As you pass through them, that with intention, you invite your guides to go on those journeys with you, to share those brain waves. You invite them in a state of humility, in a state of openness. Another thing we'd like to suggest for you to do is heart-brain cohesion. Because you do live a lot in your heart and you do have advanced chakras, your ability to handle frequency is higher. Do you know that? Do you realize that?
Now that you say that, I can acknowledge that.
Yeah. We see your energy flowing, and it's flowing quite nicely. And your Merkaba body is very developed, but your ability to run it freely from your head to your heart is a little choppy.
Usually I can run it up,
Yes,
Yes.
not down, you see.
but not so much down.
Right. And that would be another thing that we would advise you to do to increase the connection with your guides, thereby understanding the language that is uniquely yours with your guides, you see.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, Paula.
Hello again.
Yes.
Happy to see you, and thank you for just your guidance from our first meeting as well as our second. And I'd like to think that I've taken what you've said and have implemented it. And I'd like to know how to advance it. I feel the logical part of my mind, and then I know I've tapped into it,
Yes.
but I'd like to embody it, keep it more consistent, because I've noticed that I'm in survival mode, and then at least now I recognize it, but I'd like to be able to shift that a lot faster or get rid of that.
Yes. It's like everything in life, it's practice and intention. We do see that your energy flow is stronger than it has ever been.
Woohoo!
As we see your ability to empathize and love others is greater as well. And we'd like to congratulate you because your torso field is wider than it was the last time we met. So, very beautiful. Do you know the times we have come to you?
Just through Catherine?
We love Catherine, and we're grateful to her. But you are one that you can connect with us without her. You see?
Love it.
Yes. It is that ability that you have to connect your brain and your heart, and most importantly, your desire. You see? And in doing so, you become a leader for those around you. And that is your place.
Thank you.
Yes.
I've played around with, I took your advice and went to heart math, and I ended up purchasing the biofeedback machine,
Yes.
and I've been playing with that. And at one point in time, I got to a 6.0,
Yes.
and I was so proud of myself.
Yes.
And that happened more or less so effortlessly.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering how I can grease the skids to get there more consistently.
Just a moment. There is a great frequency. There you go. Do you see how powerful you are? You're on the path, dear one. We're very, very happy with you and very pleased.
Thank you.
Yes. Continue what you're doing. Continue opening your heart. Continue the relationships you had that support you and love you. Know that you are on the right path doing all that's good. and just broaden it. The interesting thing about your journey to spirituality is that it is not something that is forced or pushed. It is not something that you need to do. There's no have-tos. It's a journey. It's more of a get-to. It's more of a ease. We often tell Catherine, man is that he might have joy. So as she's going through the process, and we say, are you feeling any joy? And she says, no, I'm not. That's how you know you are on a different path than the one that you want to be on. Go back to the path that you feel joy on. We would also like to encourage you to lean into abundance and your beliefs around that. For that is what is stopping the flow. Start by having conversations in your head, thought processes. What is abundance? What does it mean to you? Is it an unlimited bank account?
That helps.
Yes. But it is so much more than that. But you can start with that unlimited bank account. What would it look like? What would it feel like? Use all of your 5 senses to bring that into your awareness. All of that is done in the higher dimensions, which all lie in your brain. Your brain has access to all of those dimensions. Catherine oftentimes thinks that it's about actions that she does, and it's not. It's about the thoughts that she thinks. And it's the thoughts and being aware of them and choosing them so that they're in alignment with her joy. Does that make sense?
Yes.
The most important part of this whole conversation with you is for you to know how much you've advanced just since we first spoke with you. There's often times Catherine is on Instagram and one of your posts will come by and we feel her heart and it opens. And she looks at what you've posted and she'll like it with one of her many companies. And she thinks, I wonder if Lori knows they're all me. And it's that love that you and Catherine share through the ethers, through this thing called Instagram. And as you are opening and allowing her heart to grow, and then she in turn sends that energy back to you, and we in turn see the two of you are 2 women that we love so much. We see you progressing. That's what it's all about. That's the joy. Live in those moments. Think about what it's going to be like when you do have that unlimited bank account and all of your needs are met. Think about the people that you will love and the feelings that will flow freely through you as you magnify them and send them back out. Live from that space and the rest will follow.
Thank you.
Our pleasure.
I was wondering, I've had the opportunity these past 2 weeks to be in 4 different spaces. And I've noticed the common denominator in all those spaces is me. But
Yes.
there's some joy from them, but there's a heaviness to it. What is that? How can I shift that? It's interesting.
If it doesn't feel joyful, don't do it. It's so simple, so simple. Quickly make the assessment. Does this feel good to me? Is this going to get me where I want to go? If it doesn't, don't do it. And we'd like to add, we've been talking to Catherine for 50 years about this one. It seems so simple. It seems so simple. But as our dear, dear friend Mark can tell you all, he helped her through it 3 days ago, as she was not in a state of joy, was she? No. So, although it is a simple, simple topic, it is quite difficult as human beings to master it. But once you begin to put the intention out there, I'm feeling joy, I'm feeling joy. Oh, no, I'm not. Okay, back to joy. I'm feeling joy, I'm feeling joy. Ouch, not joy there. All right, turn back to joy, back to joy. The more that you do it, the easier it will become. And the more fluid it will flow through your body.
Okay.
And that is what we wish for you. Did we tell you how much we love you?
Thank you. I love you too.
We have seen you since you were a little girl. We're so very proud of you.
I definitely want to get back in touch with that little hellion.
Yes. How fun is she? She is still in you. She is part of you.
Thank you.
Much love to you, Lori.
Thank you.
We have some
Watching on
at-home
YouTube,
people.
we have Maria Christina. She's on the Universal Spirit Center channel, and she says, in the past year, I feel I have become aware of 1-2 guides, and I'm making this up in my mind, or is my connection developing? How do I navigate between my intuition and imagination? I think my heart runs a little more than my logic. How do I ask my guides to communicate with me?
Well, you just have. And you are indeed speaking with your guides. So, Mr. Mark, we may need you to repeat some of that, for that was a lot right there. So let's start out with the first phrase and let us speak to that first.
In the past year, I feel like I have become aware of 1 or 2 guides.
So let's say right there, you have. Well done. Good job.
Am I making this up in my mind?
No,
or
you are
is
not.
my connection developing?
Your connection is developing.
How do I navigate between my intuition and imagination?
They are the same. They are the same. Get to know that process. For imagination, your intuition can speak through your imagination. A thought, a memory, or a déjà vu. All of that is your intuition activated.
I think my heart runs a little more than my logic.
Yes, which means you are an empath. That's a beautiful thing. It's the same advice we've given so many times. Connect your brain and your heart. Bring them into cohesion, into cooperation, into harmony. And in doing so, your big, beautiful heart will connect with your brain, and your brain can then connect with your big, beautiful heart, and they work together. Then your intuition will grow. Then you'll begin to understand, see, and hear your guides. And then you will remember how much you are loved and how great you are. And then your life becomes very much joyful. You have a lot of joy in your life at that point, you see? They're all interrelated.
I think you answered this already, but the last line was, how do I ask my guides to communicate with me?
And again, it's the same answer. Your guides, you don't need to ask them. They're ready and willing. What you do is raise your vibration so that you can connect with them. And the best times to do that is when you are awaking first thing in the morning and when you are sleeping. Thank you for the question. Maria
Christina.
Maria Christina, thank you.
Anybody in the room have a question? Don't be shy.
Can you tell me about, first, thank you. Thank you. I am so grateful to be more awake in my container
Yes, yes.
at this stage in my life. I see numbers. I love numbers. I love the numerology. I hated math when I was a kid, but I see numbers that repeat a lot.
Yes,
What is that?
the grid.
Can you tell me more about that?
Yes. Numbers, mathematics, is how this universe runs. It doesn't run on language as much as it runs on sound, frequency, and numbers. When you're seeing the numbers over and over again, that is your guides connecting with you. That is an awareness that you are then processing. Oh, those are familiar numbers.
Okay.
You're awakening. We are very much looking forward to our one-on-one with you.
As am I.
Yes,
As am I.
yes.
Thank you.
And as you're shedding, if we can if we can go a little bit further into
Please,
that.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
As you're shedding and you're leaving some of the experiences that you've had in your earlier years, and you're stepping into the spirituality and you're remembering your greatness, as you're doing that, the universe rewards you with little synchronicities, little awarenesses, and those are the numbers. Sometimes the numbers are meant to bring an awareness to you to be aware of something, a change that's happening, something to do with the relationships in your life, a remembrance to come back to gratitude and care, which normally flows through your body. You are not one who has to struggle to do that. It comes naturally. It comes with that. There is a higher frequency that you can step into that is yours. You can do that now in this body, in this 3D experience that you're having. And that is because you have done the work and you have come to love yourself exactly who you are, for you are perfect exactly how you are.
Very good.
Yes.
Very good. That makes sense with the numbers and processing, because I see 1 and 11 a lot.
Yes. Yes.
So look forward to hearing more about 11.
Yes.
Thank you.
As are we.
Thank you.
Thank you.
When you ask your question, can you just speak directly into the mic so the people at home can hear you?
Sure.
Thank you.
Hello.
Perfect.
Hello.
I have a question. I know many of us are growing, and part of the embodiment, the body needs time sometimes to integrate. And I have consistently on and off had issues around digestion. And I know it's not just food, it's frequency. Aches and pains. I know other people have them too right now. They're going through a lot of changes. Wondering if you can speak to that and how to support the body more.
Catherine also has been struggling with digestive issues, particularly in the last 7 years. And a lot of that is due to what's happening on the planet. The digestive has to do with your base chakra. Your base chakra has to do with your survival. Has there not been a lot of changes on this planet in the last 4 years? A lot of shifting into the energies that you once felt like your survival was very much taken care of. Now, maybe not quite so much. With should I not? Should I take this? Should I not do that? Do I have this sickness? Do I not have that sickness? Have I contracted this? Did I give it to this person? Should I wear the mask today? Should I not wear the mask today? Should I go to a group? Should I not go to a group? You see, all of these things challenge your base chakra, your survival chakra. Here's the good news. Blessings are coming as you all learn to take those frequencies and transmute them. So, what we would suggest you do, and we don't need to really suggest much to you, for you are a truly enlightened spiritual person on your path. Continue, you know that. You work, you give, you serve, you love. You help all those who come across your path. Give that to yourself. And particularly when the digestive feelings come and you're feeling the discomfort, know that a lot is happening with the food source that you're on right now. A lot is happening with the soil. A lot is happening with the resonance that's on the planet right now. Lean into that and choose love as that pain is coming through. Now, we also are aware that we don't have a human body, so it's easy for us to say. We're not the ones experiencing the difficulty as your body processes the food. What we would like to share with you is that we know love, and we know the outcome. Light. Light is the answer, and light will come to the planet. It is on the planet, and in that light, your body doesn't need the time. Miracles can happen. Be open to them. You see, the thought processes. Now, this is a difficult one. Catherine struggles with it immensely. When the digestion happens and she's in pain and she's maybe taking it out on other people that she loves, she forgets to love herself. She forgets to go to the quiet moment and to send that energy. And we tell her there are things called qigong there are movements that you can do that will flow the energy that's on the planet and bring that into your body, thereby diminishing the pain that she feels. We would like to offer you the same advice. Lean into the pain, not to maximize the pain, but to diminish it. Lean into the fact that you love yourself. You love that beautiful body of yours. And in doing so, you bring in the frequency that will help your body take care of the dysfunction that's happening because of the frequencies that are happening on the planet. Does this make sense to you?
Yes.
Yes.
And I so relate to the energy movement because I practice Aikido, which helps me a lot.
Yes.
It's really helpful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. May we also add, some of this is not yours.
Yes.
Some of this you are picking up because you are such an open vessel.
Yeah.
So begin to understand the clients that you work on. And when you bring them relief from their pain, make sure to not pick it up. Make
Yes.
sure that it does not enter into you, for that doesn't help anybody, now does it?
Can you speak to some of the ways in which maybe to protect or release that would be simple?
Everything is in your thoughts. Everything is your thoughts and your emotions. So when there's a shift in your body, honor it. Pay attention to it. Even it means if you need to step aside for a moment or move yourself more than 5 feet away from your clients, because you're protecting yourself, because you're taking care of yourself at the same time that you're taking care of them. Does this make sense to you?
I was actually thinking, yes, it does. And I was actually thinking how a hug, there's a lot happens in a hug, in
Yes.
the energy transference. And not
Yes.
everyone is actually, I need to actually say no sometimes
Yes,
to
most
certain
definitely.
people, even
Yes.
though I'm a hugger. And,
Yes.
you know, it's not always in my best interest
Yes,
to hug everyone.
yes, and that is the interchange that you had with Catherine today.
Yeah.
And she said to you, are you a hugger?
That's
Can I
right.
hug you? There's a moment where both parties come into free will and choice and they say yes. There is a moment when you should not say yes because it is not good for your body. And it is actually more loving to protect your body so that you could then serve to those that you can hug and share that energy and let it flow. There are times we will say to Catherine, stop now. And it's not that we wish her to be unkind to anybody, because she can send the love through her eyes and a smile and a wink. And sometimes she touches on a shoulder, but there are times we ask her not to go into that lower vibration. You'll never solve anything with the same energy that created it, right? How do you bring light to dark? Not by giving more dark, by lighting a match. Does this help you?
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, love.
Okay, on Facebook we have Jenna Alethea. She says, how can I find joy, laughter, and happiness that I've lost, and to find my calling in life that will fulfill me?
Well, first let us put forth the idea that joy and laughter is never lost. Ever, ever. You first recognize that the frequency that you're in is not the frequency of joy. And Toby tonight in her meditation gave you a beautiful example. She said to you all, think of a time when. Think of a time when. Joy is something you can feel walking on a road, on your way to your car as the sun is shining. Maybe listen for a bird. Stop and smell a flower. Catherine loves to see a mother pushing her child in a stroller. Toby loves dogs. Find the joy in the little small things. Every moment of joy is captured in your body. Call upon it. With intention, bring it to the surface. Be intentional of the world that you create around yourself. Be intentional of the day that you want to have. Be intentional for the life that you are here to live. Be intentional to have joy. So, Mr. Mark, did we answer all the points of that question?
I believe so, yes, and it looks like we have time for one more question, maybe. Anyone here?
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, so I have two questions, but I'll start with the first one that came to me. So I've experienced health challenges for several years, which I feel like I'm definitely pushing through. And I've been through a variety of different diet changes, and that has really, some of them have really brought my meditation to a whole different level, as well as my intuition. And so I notice certain foods obviously have higher frequencies. And when I'm partaking in what I would consider like clean foods or raw foods or different things like that, meditating and just connecting with my intuition is so much easier. So I wanted to see what your thoughts are on, are there specific foods that have high frequencies that would be beneficial for me?
Yes and no. So it depends on who grew the food. It depends on the intention of those who package the food. It intends on your intention when you picked up the food. There's so many different variables there.
Okay.
So we invite you to do what you can do that's all about you, and that is your own thoughts and processes. So many times human beings will tell each other, this is that, or this is this. And for them, it might be this is this. But it doesn't mean for you that this is this or that is that. It means you must find your own, and your inner knowledge, your inner voice that does not speak English, your inner voice that speaks to you in vibrations and in emotions. That's the voice that you should listen to the loudest. So, that being said, there is an advantage to doing a reset to your body. And we have asked Catherine to do that, and she has made it to 3 days, but not past that. Because about the third day, she starts to get headaches, and she really wants food, so she goes and has it. But if you can give your digestive tract, and you can give your body a break, it does reset to its natural state. And the body's natural state is one of joy and cohesiveness and cooperation. So, start every day out with that intention. When you pick up a food, pick it up and just take a moment. Is this going to bring me to that state of joy? If it is, continue. If it's not, let it go. And that's an individual process that each soul makes by themselves. So what is good for Toby is not good for Catherine. I'll give you an example. Catherine loves pickles. She eats them all the time. Toby does not.
I like pickles, not fried pickles, though.
Catherine does.
She loves them.
You see? And we love Catherine and Toby so very much. We would not tell Toby that she must eat the fried pickles, and we would not tell Catherine to not eat the fried pickles. And we are delighted when Mark takes one for the team and has a fried pickle with Catherine. And you see, the laughter that you're feeling, that is more important than pickles. So you could eat a beautiful diet that's perfect for your body and then go home and get in a massive fight with your beloved. And you've undone all the work you did by eating the beautiful food. You can eat food that might not be so good for you and open your heart, connect it with your brain. Do a beautiful connection with you and Mother Gaia and all that's good in the world, and your body will process that food and send it right back out. For the body wants to return to its state of goodness, its state of joy, its state of harmony. That's its job. So get out of the way and let it do its job.
Thank you. And also quickly, I just wanted to ask, maybe this is not a quick question, but I have always wondered about deja vu, and you have kind of touched on it briefly earlier, saying that it's your intuition, but it is just, it's overwhelming and overpowering, and I always tried to figure it out when it happens, and sometimes it's almost I know what's going to happen next. So I have that feeling of deja vu, and I'm like, this is what you're going to say, this is what he's going to do. And I don't say anything and watch the whole thing unfold. So how can you expand on that? Is that my intuition
Yes.
guiding me, or?
That, and you're also spiritually acclimated. So you are moving through the dimensions and you feel things, and that's where the deja vu comes along. Also, we have brought forth a fun idea that is not accepted by all of us, but it's that deja vu is the Creator's way of telling you you are on the right path.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you all for coming and for participating. Those that it is a new experience, we welcome you. Those that are hurting or maybe have boundaries up as they seek to understand all this thing called spirituality, may we recommend that you know and remember how much you are loved. As always, thank you for your support. Much love to you all till we speak again.
Thank you. Sorry, it's very close. Thank you very much for that beautiful opportunity.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that was wonderful. Thank you, everybody, for coming. That is the end of our evening. And again, just a reminder that there is a basket in the back, and look for the QR code for donations to Universal Spirit Center. We are typically here the last Wednesday of every month. Sometimes we do this format, and sometimes I facilitate breath work. So if you're not already on my mailing list, please sign up in the back to be informed of future events. And we are taking this format and we are expanding it into a 6-hour workshop. And we will be touring across the country starting most likely in July. So keep your eyes open for those bigger events, and just know that where you are right now is a really special experience in this very intimate setting. So again, if you'd like to come back, there's probably only going to be like one more like this in this space. So sign up on the mailing list in the back, and I'll be around for questions after. And again, much love to Gino, to Reverend Kevin, for having us, and for the community. Thank you all. Have a lovely evening. Blessings. Thank you at home as well.
Ha 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 ha!